Yo guys, so today I'll be covering on the highly anticipated Parktown Residence coming up at Tampines. So actually for this video, I did a poll last week about which bedroom should I cover for Parktown Residence, and based on the votings, majority of you guys actually wanted 3 bedrooms. So next time, maybe for the next new launch or any upcoming videos, if you guys have a particular bedroom they are looking out for and then you want to find out more, do vote on the poll because I'll be doing content based on that. And after today's video, if you actually had some valuable takeaways, do leave me a subscribe and like so that other people can benefit from this video as well. Alright? Cheers! Wishing everyone a happy Chinese New Year, 新年快乐, and I hope everyone 画 together, 身体健康, 恭喜发财. So right now, Parktown Residence, the VIP preview will start on the 7th of February and we should be looking to launch on the 21st of February. So after this video, if you found my content useful and you would like to view the show flat with me, do feel free to scan the QR code or you can just click the WhatsApp link to reach out to me, alright? I hope to be able to work with you guys soon. So just to give some of you guys that are not familiar with the Tampines area, basically this plot of land is going to be right beside Tampines North MRT station, and we are surrounded by a couple of HDBs that haven't MOP, some of them MOP already, and a couple of ECs, and there's quite a few empty plot of land as well. So this is just the overview of the plot of land beside Parktown Residence. So now for the first part, we will cover on the land bid price. So for this Parktown Residence, we have a joint bid between UL, Singland and CapitaLand, and they submitted for a bid of 885 PSF PPR for this Parktown Residence block. And over here, the bid was actually awarded in June 2023, and then we are going to be launching in February 2025. So just to give you a gauge, you have about 1.5 years from the land awarded till the launch day. So this would kind of apply for other GLS that's awarded as well. Northwood Grand, which is a recent launch last year, it is near Woodleigh South MRT station and it is not near any shopping mall. We are already looking at an average of 2067 PSF harmonizer and it is looking at 84% sold. So right now, this Parktown Residence, we are looking at an integrated development, a mega shopping mall with MRT, and then it is right beside a brand new park. I estimate it should be in this 2001 to 2200 PSF pricing because judging from the past launches, even you look at Ori, EOK, all this, they already have a very strong response from the buyers. So that's why I don't think the developer is going to price it cheap, even though they got the land cheap. Because at 885 PSF PPR, definitely they could have gotten, maybe they can launch below 2000 per square feet and they will still be able to get a decent amount of profit margin. But I think just based on the market sentiment itself, I don't think the developer will launch it any cheaper than Northwood Grand. And you look at Ori, we have about 86% sold on launch and it even costs $3,000 per square feet for RCR development that is only near MRT and is not integrated. So I really don't think quoting a price of 2001 to 2002 per square feet for Parktown Residence is going to be something that is out of the norm. To elaborate a little bit more, so look at that time, in 2023, the developers were actually still very cautious also, not just the buyers, because for the developers, the interest rate from the banks is still the same thing. It was still at a higher rate as compared to today. So you see, back then, there were only 3 bidders for 2023 and the future direction, we don't know whether the federal on the US side was going to cut the interest rate, all this. There was a lot more uncertainty, and this is also a mega plot which is 545,000 square feet of land, which is a mixed use development. So fast forward to 2024, we actually have Hoi Hub bidding for 1004 PSF PPR for this Tampines GLS site as well. So this actually shows a very big difference from 2023 to 2024, just a mere 1 year, because of the market change. You can see even the developers have a significant change in terms of appetite, because you can see over here, we have a total of 6 bidders and these are all the big developers in Singapore. So the bid was awarded in September 2024 and you can see between the first and second bidder actually is only a very small margin. We are looking at probably a less than 2% difference, and you must understand this is actually half the land size and the PSF PPR is 13% more expensive than Parktown. So, I mean, if you look at this alone, right, you already can tell that the developers for this upcoming Tampines GLS for the 1000 PSF PPR, they're going to launch significantly higher than Parktown Residence because there is not going to be another plot of land that is going to be cheaper. Over here, I wrote 6 bidders in 2024, 1.9% higher than second bidder. Interest rate started to fall and result in a more bullish environment. So developers are also more aggressive. So I think one more thing is that the quantum over here is much smaller because I think it's a much smaller piece of land. So we are looking at in the 500 to 600 million range. But for this Parktown residence, is actually a mega plot of land. So maybe the developers also couldn't afford this kind of quantum, or they just wanted to enter something of a lower risk. So this Parktown residence was actually sold for 1.2 billion. So definitely, of course, the land size is double of what the Tampines, the other plot of Tampines land that was sold for. So I think these are just things for you to take note if you are going to enter into Parktown. It's good to know all this and what is coming up. And also one more thing I want to add, based on the article that I found online, they also mentioned that there's a possibility for this plot of land at the Tampines Street 94. It might not have a direct link to Tampines West Station, so this is yet to be confirmed. I'm just basing off what I see from the article itself. So now I want to talk about the EC that is right beside Parktown Residence and it's going to be launching on the same weekend. So over here, if we see based on the break-even cost, we are looking at about 1,300 PSF. And we estimate on the ground, the PSF launch for Woodleigh should be looking at between $1,500 to $1,700 per square feet. And this is definitely not a overestimate because if we actually look at the Tenet EC, which is right beside Woodleigh, they have already transacted between 1,200 PSF to 1,600 PSF, and these are all already transacted. If the highest one is actually coming from a 4-bedroom at 1,651 PSF and the quantum of 2.256 million. So right now you might be asking me, hey, why actually am I still gonna go through with you about Tenet and Woodleigh when actually what I should be covering on is Parktown Residence. So this will actually affect your investment time horizon if you are just looking to flip the property. But if you're looking just for own sale all this, you might also want to factor this in because you should know that this EC, maybe they have to stay 5 years MOP, right? Then they can sell after that. But this will actually impact you 10, 15 years down the road. So definitely, if today you are a buyer, even at Parktown or even the EC itself, this is something that you should look out for. So for the upcoming EC, we have Simlian, right, that is also giving a record-breaking price of 768 PSF PPR for the EC site at Tampines Street 95. So this is also right beside the mixed development plot that was previously mentioned just now. And we look at the PSF PPR, I also estimate, right, if we're looking at 768, the launch should be looking at 1,005 to 1,008 range. So I think this is becoming the norm even for EC, right? You see, we already can see the EC price are actually creeping up close to what some of the OCR new launch pricing. So I made a remark over here. So you see, right, for EC, we also have a new benchmark. Same for private and HDB. So if today you are actually worried that you are going to be priced out, you can't afford the EC, or maybe you can't fulfill the criteria, maybe you can consider a smaller private, maybe a new launch or even a resale condo, or even from HDB, because if you have seen for the past 2-3 years, HDB hasn't had a decline yet. We are still seeing record high number of volume transactions for $1 million HDB. This kind of thing is like, I think you have to prepare yourself for it. Like sometimes you don't accept that the HDB prices actually has gone up so much, but in reality, we are even seeing Tampines HDB crossing the $900,000 mark. So I think this is very real. And if you don't own any property over the past 5 years, even HDB, right, you have lost out a lot and you might have been priced out of certain asset classes. So now I'm going to touch on the land size for Parktown Residence and some minor attitude, okay? So here, right, we actually have the first story consisting of retail and commercial, community club, hawker center, bus interchange, and a lot of communal facilities, retail car parks. Basically, it's a mega development. We have a total of 1193 units and they have multiple blocks over here. So expected TOP, right, we should be looking at 2029, maybe 2030. And then side area, this is about 50,000 square meters. And car park lot is not one-to-one. We have 961 car park lots and 10 of them EV and 7 accessible lots. So just to answer some FAQ, there's a whole entire list of question and answers prepared, but I'm just going through review just to give you an overview of how the development might actually look like. So for the first question, the residential drop-off point and the guardhouse is actually located at basement 1. And then over here, they said that can residents access the other levels? Is there a card control panel inside the lift? So for the residents, they can still only go within their block. So you can see over here, they did mention that they cannot go to the other lift lobbies unless you get permission. So I think this might be helpful if you look at maybe say sentries at Jurong Point there, right? I think they have this problem of maybe people going to the condo very easily. So I think this will help with the security over there. So just to give you a sensing, right, of how big Parktown Residence actually is, it's actually the largest integrated development with transport hub by land area and GFA. So this will be Tampines' first fully integrated development. So out of these 9 developments in Singapore, you can see over here, Parktown Residences is actually the largest one. Just zoom in a little bit so you can see this is the site area itself. So you see even reserve residences, Pasir Ris Mall, they are all smaller. Okay, and I think the closest one we are looking at probably is North Park Residences, that entire development. And then for the permissible GFA, North Park Residences, we are looking at about 123,000 square feet. So for this Parktown Residence is actually slightly bigger some more. We have the other mixed-use residential and commercial development. So in Singapore, definitely there's only a few of such developments. So you can see here, Orchard Residences, Woodleigh, Watertown, Park Place, Woodleigh Residences, which is one of the more recent ones, One Holland as well. And Lentor Modern is coming up in the next few years. It will be at the Lentor area there. And it is nothing like what Parktown Residence has because it only has a retail at the first story. So you can see across the whole Singapore, right, just to give you a perspective, there's only 9 such developments that is an integrated transport hub, and majority of them are quite spread out across the whole Singapore because I think the government also don't want to do too many of these concentrated in certain areas. You can see like the west has one, the north has one, so they're kind of spacing this kind of integrated transport hub. And we have Parktown Residence that is the nearest one will be Pasir Ris 8 and the next one is at Bedok Residences. So definitely they are not nearby to each other, and the government's main objective is really to create satellite towns around all of these integrated transport hubs. So right now I'll be going into the development breakdown and also the phasing of the entire development. So over here, of course, we have very good developers. We have the Band 1, UOL, Capital Land, and Singapore Land. They are all reputable in Singapore, and definitely you should know that with their track record, they would be able to deliver on the product. And as also based on Capital Land's experience with retail, you would expect a good tenant mix in the shopping mall as well. I think if you've seen a few developments, right, even though they are mixed residential, the tenant mix, as long as they are not the top tier kind of tenant mix that you want to have, I think the demand won't be as strong because let's be frank, most of the shopping mall nowadays is cookie cutter. They are like copy paste from each other one. But this is actually what Singaporean wants. If they try to innovate anything more, actually this is not what Singaporean wants really. So yeah, even though it's copy and paste, but whatever works, the developer definitely will still deliver the same thing, which I think is a very good sign because in the end, you're buying into certainty. We always want to eliminate chances of uncertainty. Okay, so over here, I have the breakdown, right, based on the unit type and how many square feet and how many units, and also what is the maintenance fees per unit type. So for here, I'll just go deep into some of the insights that I've seen and kind of study the area itself. So from here, right, you can see for the 2-bedroom premium type, we have a total of 292 units available. So definitely this is the highest count in terms of the units, and I would say this will be the highest competition in the 2-bedroom premium when you hit the resale market next time. So this is something you need to take note. And on top of that, maybe you need to consider also rental, all this. So these are things that you already know beforehand that will affect your exit strategy in the future. But the very interesting thing that I observe, right, is that the EC, Tenet and Oriel that's right beside Parktown Residence, right, they actually don't have any one bedroom and two bedrooms there. So I feel like there could be a market gap in this area. So that's why I think the developer at Parktown Residence, they decided to do more two bedrooms because they know that the ECs, they actually don't have the one bedroom or two bedrooms. The only problem that I foresee, right, is that the EC, when they hit the MOP, we are looking maybe when they finish construction in 2029 or 2030, and then you add another 5 years to that, right? The two bedrooms at Parktown Residence might face difficulty in terms of capital appreciation and also competition in the resale market because you think about it, these ECs, you're getting in at maybe 1006 to 1007 PSF. But today, this Parktown Residence, if the two bedroom you're already getting at 2002, you think about it, when you hit the resale market, right? Actually, your two bedrooms at Parktown Residence is going to be almost same prices as the three bedrooms at Tenet and Oriel. So I think these are things that you want to kind of take note already, and you already can foresee this happening. I don't think buying real estate is really you just throw in like a dart and make it a guessing game. All this information is already out there. It's more of whether you have go and dig out the information and analyze accordingly. So I think this is going to be very relevant for the two bedroom buyers, especially if you are looking at Parktown itself. But for today's video, right, I'll be covering mainly on the three bedrooms. So for the two bedrooms, I'll just be covering this main part that I observed. So for the three bedrooms, we have 135 units for the normal 3 bedroom premium 158 units, 3 plus study 115 units. So this actually forms 34% out of the 1000 plus units at Parktown Residence. And actually, if you include everything, right, the 3, 4, and 5 bedrooms, they actually form less than 50% of the 1000 plus units. So like I said, I think the developers also know that there is a shortage in the two bedrooms around here. So they are just trying to cater towards more of the investor side for that portion, because it's in the end, it's an integrated development. Definitely the rental will be very, very attractive. And I don't know if you are familiar with the Tampines area. If you go and observe, right, at Tampines West, Tampines North, Tampines MRT, right, there is not really a development that is right beside a MRT station in Tampines. So I think this is definitely one of the stronger draws for a tenant pool in the east side. And last but not least, the 5 bedrooms, because there is only 22 units here, so I really foresee that there is a very low competition for this integrated development in the Parktown. Yeah, there's only 22 units. So right now, I will touch on the site plan and the area itself. So for the site plan, I won't really go too much into it because I'm sure you guys have seen it many times. So now, I just put the site plan, right, on the area itself, and I actually cross-check with master plan, right? So over here, you can see for Parktown, here will be the HDB. These two HDB is already done already. So you kind of already know the height of the building and you can already gauge what kind of facing you're gonna get. So for me, right, interesting part is that they have a couple of zone residential sites, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. So definitely, I think these are very, very important points, be it in terms of HDB upgraders or future plots of private or EC, because I think these are all future demand that they're gonna just pump into the area, right? So naturally, when people maybe they want to sell their HDB, they are just looking somewhere nearby there, and there's a chance that if another private is launched there, the price of the private might be even higher than Parktown if they launch maybe 3-4 years down the road. So I think these are all very important aspects if you want to have capital growth in the area. So do take note, they actually zone education site at the bottom over here. When you take a look at the master plan itself, this is how it kind of looks like. So in the middle here, you kind of have the parks, and then this is the education site, then this is the HDB, then this is the other residential sites that is not launched yet. So we don't really know what's going to come up over there. But overall, it's just, this is how you need to know what is going on in the area itself. So this is the upper basement plan. So you just need to take note, right? All of the blocks, they can go to the basement, right? Then they have a direct link to the MRT. So I think this is going to be quite close to what Woodleigh is having, and maybe like Woodleigh Residence, all this. So right now, I'll be going through with you the Parktown Residences 3-bedroom layout and also how I rank them accordingly in terms of value and in terms of facing. So I won't really go through all the layouts because there's a lot of layouts, and in general, I just want to give you a few, and if you want to find out more, you can WhatsApp me anytime, okay? Okay, so first things first, I want to cover is value. So for Parktown Residence, right, like I said just now, I won't be going through individual layouts because there's a lot of different variations. So I'm just going to give you the general sensing. So after I studied the small 3 bedrooms, right? Number one is the 936 square feet. Number two is 947 and number three is 926. So why I put 947 and 926 after 936, right? Because the 926 square feet one, there is no windows in toilet and kitchen. So it's only a small top up to get this extra at the 936 square feet unit. And then for 947 square feet unit, right, you actually top up a little bit more, maybe like 10 square feet kind of size, but you don't actually get the extra utility. So for me, if you have been a follower for my past videos, I've been always talking about this extra utility, the top up. So these are the things that you need to bear in mind. Of course, this is purely just value. I'll be going through with you the facing also later on. And then now we have the 3 bedroom premium. So same thing, just based on value itself, I'll put the 1055 square feet first. So same theory. For the 1066 and 1076, actually maybe they have a slightly different configuration, all that. But the main thing is you top up and then you get no extra utility. So this is how I would actually approach the unit selection process in terms of value. Last but not least, we have the 3 plus study. So over here, right, I will rank accordingly. So same thing also. The 1163 is number one in terms of value, then followed by 1173 and 1184 square feet. So same theory, you top up, right, and then you don't get any extra utility. So for me, it's like, if you can get the smaller one, might as well get the smaller one, because for now 10 square feet, we are probably looking at about 20 plus thousand, 30,000 already. So for me, I'm sure you won't really feel the significant difference of 10 square feet, but you are paying 20k, 30k more, which could have been easily your renovation money or could have been for your furniture or that. And also for the 3 bedrooms, right, if you want to compare between the 3 plus study, 3 premium and the normal 3 bedroom, now I already rank for each type, right, which one is the most value. But now if you have the budget for the 3 of them, and you're not sure which one to actually go for, you can feel free to contact me, because for all this, I already kind of know what is the target audience and what you're looking out for. So this is where the experience will come in. When you already know what is the target audience, what they are looking for, right, then you have to buy the unit based on what already is proven over here. So I've already done the research at Treasure at Tampines and the other resale at Tampines area. I already know which kind of layouts actually will make more profit in the same development when you compare between the 3 bedroom compact versus maybe premium and the 3 plus study. So all this is, I feel like you already need to know if you are maybe an investor or even a buyer just for own stay to safeguard your future exit strategy. So just now I already covered based on value itself, right? So now I'll be covering based on facing. Okay, so over here is the smaller 3 bedroom types. I've circled all of it, and you can see over here majority of the units are actually facing outwards and either facing block to block or outwards. There is none of them facing towards the swimming pool side. I think because the developer know that this layout and the quantum, right, will definitely be 100% sold out one. So they don't really have to go and cater for a better facing for these unit types. So for this, I'm not basing just on the unit configuration, but it's just purely the facing, right? And remember just now I took this side area just to give you a sensing of what is available and coming up there. So based on this analysis, I actually put rank 1 for this one. So I actually put rank 1 for this facing because this is towards the school, there's upcoming school one. You can see over here, right? This one's zone is education. Then the blocks will be here. So I feel that if you actually can get a high enough floor, your view will be unblocked one and it's facing towards the greenery that side. I think this one really depends and subject to individual. But for me, I feel like this will be the kind of value buy that it might be hidden because you see the rest over here, they're all zoned as residential already. So definitely you already expect the building height to be of a certain floor. But for school, maybe maximum maybe 5 floor, 6 floor, that's it. So this is why I put this facing as rank 1, and then for rank 2 will be towards the left side, and then the north part will be towards rank 3 lah. So this is how I rank the facing itself. So I think this one really subject to individual on the ranking, because if we just take a look based on this pedestrian access for the first floor, right? So you can see actually this is the bus interchange. So do take note that this will be the main entrance and the exit for the buses. I think if you are already staying in an integrated development, it's going to be very hard to avoid all these bus noises. But I think if you want to optimize that little bit, I would try to avoid like if I have an opportunity to choose the units, I will try to go away from this side long because it's gonna be very noisy one. And for me, right, why I actually don't really like these two stacks is because they are facing towards each other. And one more thing is this bottom part, right? They are actually part of the shopping mall one. So you have people walking past the area. So for me, I think you already can foresee the resistance in the resale market next time. So if I have the opportunity to choose today, definitely I would want to also avoid all this unless, right, really the price gap difference is going to be very, very big. Because I actually later will be sharing an analysis on Woodleigh Residences, one of the more recent TOP projects based on the inward facing and the outward facing one. So I think this will give you a very good gauge on as to how to actually position yourself. So I'm not saying that all this cannot buy, because if the entry price is good enough, right, then I think definitely it's still a good buy one. It's just whether you can accept this and your future buyer can accept this. So if the price difference is going to be very significant, then I would say this stack 48 and 59 could also be a good entry because it will be a lot cheaper than the outward facing or even the pool facing units. So now I will cover on the 3-bedroom premium. So same exercise. Basically, I circle out all the 3-bedroom layout types and facing, right? So you can see they are all circled in red color and they are significantly more units, right, facing inwards as compared to the smaller 3-bedroom just now. So you can see over here, the developer actually have a lot more facing towards the pool this side. So for me, right, in general, if the premium for the pool facing is not too much, I will actually put this as rank number 1 because for me, I think this is really a very good buy. And if you compare across all the developments nearby, all this, they are quite close to each other. So when you have the pool facing, I think it's a very big advantage. You're not facing towards the HDB blocks or like you're not facing a future construction in the 5 to 10 year period. And second rank will be this stack 29, which is facing towards the pool side also. Even though this is slightly closer, but I feel like this is still at least better than if you face the outside road side okay? And then here, I think this is quite unique. This stack 63, 68. These two, right? So these two, actually they are facing towards the other block, but they have this glass panel here and same thing. The first floor is the shopping mall there. So I think this glass panel, you have to envision how it will look like when we actually hit the TOP period. So today, if you have a preference for a certain facing or that, or maybe you are feng shui, you are sensitive to certain facing all this, then this you need to consult your feng shui sư, or you need to know certain things before you actually go, because if you see the show flat model, right, you already can kind of see what is this glass panel and the show model itself. Then last one will be rank 3 for me, will be facing towards same thing, the education zone itself. So okay, this is kind of the general feels for the top 3 ranking in terms of facing. I never really go into each particular unit type because I think some of them got slight difference in the configuration. And of course, you need to take note where the west sun is coming from. So west sun will be coming from this side. So I think this is something that you kind of need to factor in, especially if you are going to buy based on the site plan and floor plan itself. Then same thing, you try to avoid this side if possible, unless the unit is a lot cheaper. Yeah, because this will be directly the bus interchange entrance as well as this side. So I think these are things that you already can prepare beforehand and do your ranking for yourself. Okay, this is for me and how I would advise my clients. But if you want to have the full ranking for all the layout types and the unit types, right, you can feel free to reach out to me, because for me, I'm already doing this for my clients and I have quite a few that is also going to be interested in Parktown and Alta itself. So last but not least, we have the 3+ study. So over here, same thing, I've circled those in red color one. So these are the 3+ study unit facing. Basically, same thing, facing towards the swimming pool will be my rank number 1. But of course, entry price is going to be the key thing if you're looking as an investment. If you're buying for own stay, then I think all the more you definitely should go for the pool facing one, because integrated developments, if you have been there before, you will already know the noise level of the buses and all that. And the second one will be towards the Park West swimming pool facing. So this one is my second ranking. And then last but not least, I have rank number 3, which is facing towards the west side one, because okay, at least for that one, the HDB is already done. If you take a look at the map itself, right, the HDB is already done over here. But if you consider the other facings, we are still going to be facing construction of at least 4 years, and it's going to be in the future. So if you ask me, I would rather at least buy a facing HDB. It's already done already, so you don't have to endure the construction phase. So overall, this is my kind of sensing for the entire value and facing for Parktown Residence 3-bedroom layout types. So if you found my content useful and valuable so far, do leave me a like and subscribe. So at least this can reach out to those that also can find this information useful as well. Alright, appreciate it. So now, I think on everyone's question, whether you should buy the pool facing unit, right, or you should buy the outwards facing towards the HDB one, because we want to find out, which one is more value for money. So over here, I actually done a case study on Woodleigh Residences. So for those of you that is not familiar, Woodleigh Residences is also on top of a shopping mall called Woodleigh Mall. And this development, right, you see there's two sides. So one side is facing towards the HDB, the other side also HDB. Then one side is towards the park and the other side is towards the other condominium. And over here, if you guys are familiar, it's a very heavy traffic and busy road. So over here, right, I went to go and dig out. Basically, this stack 8 and stack 12, you see for stack 8, right, they were actually bought the same month, and now they were actually sold in the same month for at least 2 weeks of each other. 12th floor unit managed to sell almost 200k higher than the 8th floor unit. So definitely, maybe you can factor in renovation costs of this, but it doesn't justify that for a 4th floor difference, you can actually earn an extra 200k in terms of selling price. So this will apply for Parktown Residence also. If the premium is not going to be that significant, I think you should just go as high as possible, because at least for the buyers over here, right, I think they're just trying to clear out as much of the HDB as possible. So I think same thing for the Woodleigh Residences as to the Alcove Court View, right? You're going to compare the Parktown Residence to the nearby HDB over there, because they have a certain height limit. So ideally, I think the buyers are just trying to pay a premium to clear out as much of the HDB block as possible. And then now we have stack 12. So stack 12 also month bought, same month sold. So over here we have a 1 floor difference, right? And he actually was able to command a 50k premium. So I think we have a similar trend in terms of the height. So for the height itself, you were able to fetch a much higher price as compared to a lower floor unit. I think this a lot also depends on the traffic over there. So I think for Woodleigh Mall there, the traffic is quite heavy. So some buyers, they might want to just get a higher floor unit to kind of see less of the traffic. So I think this is definitely gonna be the same effect I see at Parktown itself. So my recommendation, if you can go for a higher floor, try to go for a higher floor. Even though the premium is more, you can still fetch a higher price in the resale market next time. So now for the second part, for the Woodleigh Residences, right, there wasn't much transaction to go through, but I did a summary. So basically, the pool facing units versus the HDB facing, right, when they actually bought, when the launch that time, it was a $300 to $400 PSF gap. So definitely, I would say that this is very significant gap in terms of PSF or percentage when you're just a pool facing versus the outwards facing one. So definitely based on the transactions, the HDB facing one was a lot more profitable, because I think in the end the buyers are buying here. Maybe they don't mind the HDB, but they just want the convenience. So in the end, the profit, right, was a lot more for the HDB facing. And of course, the pool facing units also gain profits, but it's not going to be as much as the HDB facing one, because of the $300 to $400 PSF gap that they actually paid for at the launch. And at the same time, you have to take note, actually the pool facing and the HDB facing units, right, they are more or less converging quite close already, based on I see the trend. Because for the units, right, I think in the end people are still buying for the convenience of the MRT of the shopping mall. So I think the view, if the supply in the market is not going to be that much, the owners are still able to call the pricing that they want. Then in the end, the pricing gap between the premium facing versus the not so good facing is going to inch up over time. So I think given enough time, definitely the HDB and the pool facing units, the premium is not going to be that significant anymore. Yeah, so this is things that you need to take note if you are going to prepare for Parktown itself. So now I'll be doing a price analysis for Parktown Residence. So for the Parktown, right, you can see the 3 bedders. I'm just taking for simplicity's sake, right, of $2,200 PSF. So I think this one really, if the PSF comes out starting from what price, if you're in Ori, starting from 2004, you can even hit 3,000. So you kind of already know that there's a range to play with. So I'm just using 2002 as an estimate lah, okay? So over here, same thing. For the smaller 3 bedrooms, right, you can already see the range is around the 2 million to 2.1 M range. And to the jump to the 3 bedroom premium, right, we are looking at about a 300k gap, so maybe 250 to 300k gap. So for here, I think this is where you need to kind of see where is the price point that you are willing to go, and then when and how much you are willing to sell in the future. So I think these are all things that you really need to take note. So you see, if you buy 2 million, you probably have to let go at maybe 2.3, 2.4 kind of range. And then if you buy at 2.3 today, you're probably looking to exit at 2.5, 2.6. And is this pricing justifiable in the current market over there? Okay, so these are all the things that you kind of want to look out for, and you already can prepare for prior to the launch itself. And then this is the 3 plus study, 2.5 million range to about 2.6 million, and we are looking at a gap of about 250,000. So of course, if you see just based on quantum, right, definitely the 3 bedroom small one will be sold out very quickly, because I foresee that this quantum is very popular in terms of acceptance. I see at Noble Grand, this is also around this kind of quantum, and people can accept it. And as you can see, Noble Grand also 80+% sold. So I already see a lot of similarities in terms of the pricing itself. So main thing over here, I want to say is always understand what does the gap buy you. Is there a change in the use of the unit? So this is always what I preach. You don't want to pay premium for something that you don't really get extra of. So now I'll be just looking at just a rough transactions, right, for the surrounding Tampines resale condominiums. Okay, so Treasure at Tampines 3 bedrooms, the DOP in 2023. So main thing is I want you to see is the PSF range transacted in the past 1 year already ranged from 1,005 all the way up to 1,008. And for those of you that are familiar with Treasure at Tampines, definitely it's not near any MRT, and it is a mega development also. So for that development at DOP 2023 already can hit 1,008 PSF. I would say if Parktown, an integrated development near MRT at Tampines area, launched at 2002, I don't think it's a stretch. So moving on, we have Tapestry, also DOP 2021. So for their 3 bedroom range, you can see they already also hit 1,005 to 1,007 PSF range. So if you're just doing the calculation based on the year, because Parktown Residence will probably DOP about 2029 like that, right? So we'll be looking at another 4 years from today. The PSF range for 2002 definitely is not a stretch at all. And then last but not least, we have the resale EC, which is City Life at Tampines, 3 bedroom, DOP in 2016. So even for a 2016 project, you can already see the PSF range is ranging between 1,003 to 1,005 for this resale EC. So this is kind of the sensing of the Tampines resale projects, and those are not near MRT at all. And now we have Tenet, which is also the EC that is transacted right beside Orel. So this one already transacted in the 1,003 to 1,006 PSF range for the 3 bedrooms. Yeah, so I think these are all the prices that you need to take note of going into Parktown Residence, because this will form like the baseline for the resale market in the future. So for the last part, I'll be covering on the exit strategy. Okay, so I made a small note over here. So in this big development, right, it's very important in terms of unit selection, because especially for exit, because you need to understand what is the particular bedroom type you're buying and what are the buyers that want in each particular bedroom type. So I think, for example, you can draw a lot of case studies from Treasure at Tampines itself. You can see which bedroom sizes actually profit more. Let's say for the 3 bedroom, is it the compact one or the pool facing one or the bigger units? Which one profit more? So all these things already can be done beforehand, and I'll be doing all this for my buyers as well. So do take note, this about 1,001 units development is a considered big because if you hit the resale market in the future, you definitely have a lot of resale competition. So you do have to at least pick a unit, right, that has a unique selling point. So now I'll be touching on the demand and supply, right, for all the developments near MRT. Okay. So these are my search criteria. So we have Tampines East MRT, and these are all within 1 km of the MRT itself. And I'm looking at 3 bedrooms and anything 2010 and above, because anything below, they are not really a close comparison anymore. So over here, we have a total of 138 transactions, right? And we have a total of 76 units on the current market right now. So for the listings of 76, right, we compare to the take up rate of 138, actually any unit that you put on sale, they more or less will get sold off within 6 months itself. So I think this is definitely very healthy. If you are in a situation where the supply is significantly higher than what is transacted over the past 1 year, then definitely you have an oversupply problem. So over here, for me, it does seem like the demand is still very strong in this Tampines area itself. And just another small note that I made, right? You can see based on the criteria I put just now, actually there is no condos that is near MRT at all. Like Treasure at Tampines is over here. And then these are the other condos. So these are the MRT itself. The red color dots are the MRT. So the Tampines area, there's really not a near MRT condo. So that's why Parktown Residence is going to be a launch of the year. Just from the east side alone, right? I'm sure the demand itself can take up the entire development. So of course now you have a lot of buyers coming from different areas. Yeah, but just the east side alone, I think the demand will be very, very strong. So now we study a little bit on the buyer profile. So you see over here, Treasure at Tampines, TOP 2023, right? And you can see it's a mega development. Majority of the buyers, we are actually looking at 86% Singaporeans, and the rest is PR and foreigner, which is a small minority. 37% coming from private property, and then a huge majority, 62% coming from HDB upgraders. So same thing over here, okay? So table 3, right, also 65% coming from HDB buyers, and then 34% coming from private property buyers. And you have a strong percentage of Singaporeans over here as well. And last but not least, we have tenant over here. So 80% of the buyers are actually from HDB and 20% is from private. And do take note that tenant actually is an EC itself, and we have a 100% take up rate from Singaporeans. So you see, right, just from this simple exercise, we really can determine that it is a very strong local demand over here. So I think that's very important because you don't want to buy into a project that basically not the local ones. And second thing is we have a very strong pool of buyers coming from the HDB side. You see, even for the EC, 20% of that can still come from private property only. So majority of the buyers in this Tampines area, they are coming from HDB upgraders. And if you have been following the HDB prices over there at Tampines, they are no longer cheap. They are really not cheap. So now I actually go and compare, right, the town developments across all the HDB town. I was shocked that Tampines is so huge. In a sense, you see Tampines over here, the highlighted in red one, we have a total dwelling units of projected about 110,000. It's really a lot for just one district. That's why you see for the entire Singapore, how many places, right, got east, west, south and north, all these. Like only so far I see Tampines got this kind of layout. You see Jurong, right? Only got maybe Jurong West, Jurong East. There is no Jurong North, Jurong South. But like Tampines, you already got North, South, East, West. So it's really that big until you need to create North, South, East, West for that particular township itself. And second thing is the scary part about Tampines is not just the number of units is a lot, but there's also a very high number of population in Tampines itself. So Tampines, you see, 242,000 people live in the HDB only, HDB at Tampines. And the second one coming is actually Jurong West itself. So I think if you compare Jurong West, it's really very big compared to Tampines. Tampines, of course, they split into North, South, East, West. Yeah, so definitely a very strong pool of demand coming in the Tampines area. So over here is all the recently TOP projects and future one that's gonna TOP, right, for the Tampines itself. So you can see the MOP dates over here. You already can kind of predict, right, where is your target market and demand gonna come from. And this one definitely, if you see like Woodleigh Residences itself, right, the very strong demand from the Bidadari $1 million HDBs pushed up a lot of the prices at Park Colonial, Woodleigh Residences, and even some of the 8 at Woodleigh, all this. So definitely HDB upgraders, don't discount them. It is going to be a very strong exit strategy. So when we see who are your potential buyers for your exit strategy, right, you can see basically this is the entire or the HDB surrounding Parktown Residence itself. So definitely there is a lot of buyers looking out at this area. And to be honest, yes, there is a concern of the price gap between Oriel EC, Connect EC versus Parktown Residence. But if there is so many HDB over there, right, I'm very certain that even if the units at Oral EC and Tenet EC come up in the MOP market, the buyers, they might even still pay the premium to stay at Parktown Residence simply because it's right next to an MRT and on top of a shopping mall. So don't ever discount the convenience that people are willing to pay. So now we are talking about the 1 km towards Poi Ching School. So this is the radius that we kind of draw. So the red color blocks fall within the 1 km itself. So do take note that you can see, I think the 1 km will be until here, right? So you have to take note, actually these two blocks, right? The certainty of it within the 1 km is still a big question mark. It's not by the whole development, but it's by the block. So I think this one, that's why if you just remember based on the facing and the ranking itself, right? I never touch on this part because first thing is toward the bus interchange entrance or exit. Second thing is there's this uncertainty when it comes to the 1 km radius to the school. So I think this block also might not fall inside. So I think all these things you have to take note, and definitely the developer, when I already look at Nava Grove, all this, right, they already priced the premium for the school itself. So I mean, of course, Poi Ching, if you go and look at the school rankings, I don't think it's that very high ranking, but because this school is the only one that is like serving this particular area, it is quite a hot school also. So I think all these things are the small little things that you need to take note. And if you can actually get a unit within the 1 km radius of the school, it's an added benefit as compared to those that don't have. So these are the things that you kind of want to add on to make your unit more and more desirable for your next buyer. So this in the end is kind of the timeline, right, for the next 10 years for this entire Tampines area. So launched in 2025, you can see that the HDB cluster will MOP, right, within this period until like maybe 2028, 2029. So this will be when the Parktown's SSD will be over, and then you can actually look to flip and sell it lah. Because all these HDB buyers, if they are already loving this area, they might actually still want to continue staying in the Tampines North area. And then of course, we'll be looking to TOP maybe around 2030. And at the same time, we'll be looking to Paya Lebar, the airbase will be redeveloping during this time. Changi Airport 5 will be looking to complete also. Cross Island Line also should be completing around this time. And for this Tampines North MRT, they target, I think it's around 2030. Of course, it's still quite far away, so we really don't know what is the exact date. So here is like kind of the roadmap you already can see for the next 10 years. And then here is something that you need to take note, because this will be the next EC cluster that's gonna MOP, right? Then this is where I would say if you are really looking to flip and then you want to cash out before people compare with the EC in the area, then you should do it before this cluster MOP lah. And this is where I can see the full maturity of the new Tampines coming up. So this will be reminiscence of when Woodleigh residences from just an empty plot of land starting to build with all the HDB, and then now with a shopping mall and the new condos. So this is what the government is doing, and I honestly think it's a very smart way of doing it, because they know Singaporeans love MRT, they know Singaporeans love shopping mall, so they just put everything there, right, so that you can still accept it, right, even though maybe there's no school or it's not that convenient to the town. So I think this will kind of pan out for the next 10 years for the new Tampines itself. Okay, so we have reached to the end of the video. So if you really found my video useful, do leave me a like and subscribe, and you can share it with your friends as well. And I want to wish everyone a happy Lunar New Year, 新年快乐, alright? So if today you also found my analysis useful and you kind of want it for yourself, for be it Elta or Parktown Residence, do feel free to scan the QR code or WhatsApp me. I will definitely be able to bring you down to the show flat, advise you based on your budget, your timeline, and your situation. And also because it's a mega development, I think unit selection is even more important, and there's a lot of things that you can pick up from the past case studies, be it other integrated developments or even mega developments at, let's say, Treasure at Tampines. So that's it for me today. Alright, I want to wish everyone a happy Lunar New Year. 新年快乐. Thank you. Bye.